This is the Fresh Cred, recorded at the IFPA Foodservice Conference in Monterey. Presented by Wiggins Farms, with support from IFPA and SunFed. Fresh perspectives, meaningful conversations, and the people shaping the future of produce and food service.
One of our favorite people in the industry, Cathy Burns, President and CEO of International Fresh Produce Association, is now joining us.
Ed, thanks for having me. This is kind of an annual tradition for us now. So I look forward to it. Let's keep it going. Exactly.
Okay. What's the response so far on the show? I mean, I'm not sure. I didn't ask if you have the stats yet as far as attendees, exhibitors. Share if you like. If not, we'll wait for the release.
Yeah, happy to share. I don't have all the details. I know the buyer to exhibitor ratio is 1-to-1, which was fabulous. I've been on the show floor all day, and exhibitors were really pleased with the buyers they were able to connect with, both nurturing relationships that they've had over the years, but also having some new relationships getting established. So we've had some new operators here. Obviously, the K-12 school food service has been a huge hit. So the vibe has been really positive, saw a lot of good innovation. The whole industry is coming together to talk about the headwinds and challenges that we faced. Sure. So it's always great to do that face-to-face. You know, I know we have to do a lot of things virtually, but there's just something special about being in Monterey this time of year, every year.
It never gets old.
It never gets old. I mean, the weather's amazing. There's a heart and soul to this industry like no other, and you can you really feel it in Monterey.
Yeah.
So people were excited to, like I said, engage in person. And there were a lot of smiles, a lot of hugs, and a lot of handshakes.
Yeah. Well, and it's definitely been a great week. We were talking a minute ago about you heading back home, heading back to the front lines.
Yes.
How goes the fight for fresh?
Yeah, we're fighting for fresh. We've spent a lot of time over the last several weeks in Washington, D.C., meeting with members of Congress, meeting with the administration, regulators, really just focused on the issues that are most important to our industry. Obviously, labor being the top one, probably the top 1, 2, or 3. So we've spent a lot of time advocating for labor. We need to get a farm bill passed. So we've spent a lot of time advocating for, along with the Specialty Crop Farm Bill Alliance, to get the farm bill over the finish line. We want to see continued investments in nutrition. So programs that the administration has to drive nutrition across the spectrum, but particularly with children in schools. So we've been advocating for that. So that's been critically important to us.
And that falls under SNAP and WIC?
Yeah, under USDA. The USDA has programs to be able to support that. The other thing that we're focused a lot on is future-proofing our industry, and that's fighting for fresh as well. And if you think about what the supply chain is going to be required in the coming years, our Supply Chain of the Future initiative is something that we're currently making sure that people in Congress understand. And the last one, another really big potential headwind for our industry, is extended producer responsibility, or EPR. And right now,
about that.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a state-by-state regulation right now, and we are really advocating. The industry came together, volunteer leaders came together to create a definition for extended producer responsibility and potential guidelines. We don't want federally mandated guidelines, or requirements, but we do want our federal government to adopt a national EPR guidelines so that we don't have these state-by-state regulations. I mean, can you imagine as a producer sending different products to different states with different requirements?
Standardizing?
Yeah,
to a certain degree?
Yeah, a little. I mean, it's more guidelines in terms of what is extended producer responsibility, and what guidelines should we have across the country to ensure that each state doesn't have their own guidelines. That's going to be very, very difficult for our industry to execute, and extremely costly.
So far, by states, I believe is it California, Washington, and Oregon that have adopted the legislation for EPR?
Yeah, and I think it's expanded to almost 12 states that either have adopted it or have it on the agenda. So it's rolling. And as I said earlier, the challenge is if you have different standards by different states and you're assessing different companies differently, that's one challenge. The other challenge is it really isn't helpful for food loss and food waste, because there are some of our products that just do better when they're in packaging. The third issue is that as an industry, we've spent a lot of time investing in innovation to get the right packaging that's, compostable and making sure that it's the right thing to do to support sustainability. But some of those products are heavier than, single-use packaging. And so it's that we're actually getting penalized in these states because the packaging itself is heavier. So you're assessed a larger fee. So that's not where we need to head as an industry. And so, back to your original question, how are you fighting for fresh? We're making sure that members of Congress understand that this is happening and hopefully get some members to step up and sponsor a bill that eliminates the state-by-state requirement and look for more federal guidelines for us to be able to execute against. Because at the end of the day, Ed, we all want more sustainable products. I mean, we're the most sustainable product on the planet. Yeah. It's fruits and vegetables. And
nobody's against that.
No, yeah, exactly. The most important thing you can do for the planet and really improve our sustainability is eat more fruits and vegetables. The packaging is an important component of that. Everything from labeling to marketing, as I said, to food safety, to food waste. And so we are, this one we're pushing, like everything else, we're fighting for fresh in this way.
Keeping in theme with the future, 5 years from now, you look back and say, we really moved the needle on X. What would be your dream scenario? We really got something done, or maybe it's a few of these things.
Yeah, for sure. It's driving consumption. Right now in the United States, 1 in 10 Americans eat the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables. To put that in context, I know there's a lot of conversation around protein right now. 50% of the Americans eat the recommended amount of protein. So the gap that we have compared to, quite frankly, any other food group is huge. So 5 years from now, gosh, it would be great that if that was reversed, that 9 of 10 Americans were eating the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables, not 1 in 10 Americans eating the recommended amounts of fruits and vegetables. So any programs that can support that, any marketing that can support that. Culturally, I think we're in a good place, especially with the next generations. They care very much about what they eat and what they put in their bodies. So we need to ride that wave, and there's a lot of different ways we can attack it programmatically. Recipes, being in culture and being cool is also another great side of that.
All kind of wraps up in education, right?
100%. Starting early education is critical so that children know how to get exposed to, have access to, and know how to prepare fruits and vegetables. So 5 years from now, that would be great. 5 years from now, actually I'd shorten this timeline, is that our growers have all the labor they need to plant, harvest, process, and ship their products. That's another one. As I mentioned earlier, EPR, that we would have federal guidelines. Again, I'd like to see that happen 5 years from now. I grew up in the retail business, so my people I work most closely with always says, okay, Cathy wants it Friday by noon. Like Friday by noon, I would love to have all of these things done. I know that's not realistic, but the spirit and the energy and the philosophy. The other thing I would highlight, Ed, is, regardless of your political affiliation, health is in the center of the conversation, especially for this administration, if you think about Make America Healthy Again. So it's our time, right? I mean, there's no better way to drive health. In fact, you can't be healthy without eating fruits and vegetables. So we have a moment, and hopefully many, many years of moments, both here and quite frankly around the world, where people are talking about health. They know they want to invest in their health, and the easiest way to do that is eating fresh fruits and vegetables.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for IFPA as far as the next big show? Is it Global's next, or is there something in between?
Yeah, we've got a couple things actually between here and Global. We have our Fresh Connections event in Brazil. So we have a huge event in Brazil. It's probably 3,000 or 4,000 attendees in Brazil. Yeah, that show has grown exponentially. We have an executive leadership summit that's taking place in Hong Kong alongside Fruit Logistica's Asia Fruit Logistica event. And then we have the Global Show in October in Orlando. And what we're so excited about this year, and I've been receiving this feedback for a while, but it's like turning the Queen Mary, is that we actually have the Global Show off the weekend. So before the show was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, starting this year in Orlando, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And everyone is thrilled about that. It's my plea and my expectation, if I can be so bold to say, if everyone could stay through end of show on Friday, It will really make the effort to move it off the weekend worth it, and quite frankly, more productive for everybody that's there. So we're really excited about October and getting it off the weekend.
That is right. I had forgotten about that. Knowing a little bit about selecting show dates for other groups that I work with and that I've worked with, takes a lot of planning. How long ago did you start thinking about this?
Well, we thought about
execute?
it. Yeah, that's a good point. We thought about it a long time ago, but a show of our size, we were booked out to 2035. So even though you can say you want to move it off the weekend, it's not like a flip of a switch and you're able to do that.
It can be 5 years from now. before you can do it.
Exactly. So props to our team, to the staff, did an incredible job, because it's not necessarily just the convention center, although that's really important. We need the convention center for 12 days to execute against a 3.5-day show. It's the hotel infrastructure. So just to give you a sense of size and scale, when we're in Anaheim, we have room blocks in 42 hotels.
42.
So think about that, 42 contracts. And what's most important, why it's so important to make sure that those contracts stay intact and that we renegotiated all those for Orlando, is because we don't want our members to come into town and pay 2-3x a room rate price had we not had a contract in place. So there's a whole bunch of infrastructure behind the scenes. I know it sounds easy, like just move it. Yeah, it's pretty dynamic to be able to do that. Exactly. Trust me, everybody wants to be off the weekend, and I'm really, really excited that we were able to do that.
I think it's going to be positive, frankly.
I think so too.
It's almost urban legend that, folks need to be in the office and they don't want, they have to go on a Saturday because they can't be, especially a show of this size. People will make the accommodation.
Yeah, I think
to be there.
What we've really noticed and impacted all of us is, in a post-COVID world, you can work from anywhere, anytime. And so before, you're absolutely right, people wanted the show on a Saturday and Sunday so they didn't miss an office day. Now they're not missing an office day. They may have to jump on their computer and do some follow-ups every now and then.
It's more efficient.
It's a lot more efficient, and it allows people to get home and be with their families for the weekend.
I love it, and I'm looking forward to it.
So am I.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you again, and good luck in Brazil.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
Cathy.
thanks for covering us. It really means a lot to us.
Not at all, our pleasure.
Great partnership.
Thank you. You heard it here, folks. We're wrapping up the International Fresh Produce Association, the Food Service Conference. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.